going to use front view, side view. That's usually the best ones to start with. And I'm going into a two-way view that will give me front, and I'll turn this one to side. Always important to do stuff like that. So front view, side view. Uh, Using the bone structure, we have to be in the rigging menu sets. So this is modeling. Rigging menu sets is the next one, and that's rigging here. And skeleton can change to rigging here in my shelf as well, so that I can also see the skeleton. Creating skeleton structures are easy. Just click, click, click. You already have a skeletal structure. Press enter. So then the skeleton is a spline, so it won't even render in, when you are exporting your files. So you don't need that. So I'll just quickly, since it's a recap, I'll put it skeleton into this guy, into this character, and then we will modify it. So for the legs, we'll start with the legs, and you start from the highest in the hierarchy down to the bottom part of the hierarchy. So I start from, let me turn on wireframe so that I can see divisions. So I start from here, click the first point for the joints, click the second point, click the third point. Now, one thing I forgot to turn on. If you are creating joints, you want to turn on your X-ray joints mode from both sections, so you can see your joints passing through the objects there. And yesterday I mentioned something about FKIK, not Ikechukwu though, but FKIK handles. So this is FK right now because as I'm moving the joint hierarchy, everything is moving along with it. Then here I position it on the leg and the way I want it to be. Good. So one thing I said was, as you are creating joints, and this I cannot overemphasize, always name your joints. And if it's something that has left and right side, include the name left, so that when you are mirroring it, the software can create the right version of it. So this is the left side of my bunny because it's on my own right side. So this is its left side. So this would be the left, uh, yeah, left underscore leg. Okay, this will be left knee, and this will be left toe because it doesn't have a very complex design. So the bone structure here will be minimal. Now, to mirror that joint, I simply go under skeleton, mirror joints, and what will help us understand what is happening in these mirror joints here, this mirror across XY, YZ, XZ, is pay attention to what orientation your joint was actually using as its primary axis. If the primary axis of my joint is Y or Z, when I'm mirroring here, I'm going to choose a plane that is either the Y plane or the Z plane. So my primary axis here is X axis. So the plane I'm going to be choosing is the X plane, which is the YZ. So guys, remember I said planes are the, to know the plane you are on, just look for the alphabet, the letter in the alphabet that is not included in the combination. Now I want to mirror this leg, but I also want to mirror the names as well that I created. So The name I put here was left leg, left knee, left toe. So I'll just tell the software, search for left and replace it with right, YZ. And once I hit mirror, it's, oh, I didn't have it selected. Once I hit mirror, it mirrors the leg to the exact same point of the same on the other side. The mirror we used in modeling is not the mirror you use for bones. That's this mirror here. Do not mirror this. This is for mirroring polygons geometry. The bone structure is a spline, so you don't use that mirror for that. Rather, you mirror from the bone structure. So now I have right leg, right knee, right toe, just like how I labeled the first one. Second one is to get the spine, right? So I want to actually click from here. So let me start by creating the tail or the base of my spine somewhere here. Then skip, oh no, base of my spine. 2, 3, 4 for neck, 5 for head, and 6 for tip of head. Right. So this one just be lined up here. Then I can move down in hierarchy to adjust their curvature. I'm using my arrow keys. Then you can add more bones by selecting a particular bone and then using the bone tool, you can add another bone. Step up in hierarchy. I want to add, let me say, an abdomen down here. Is it? I want to add a chest here. Oh, then I want to add a tailbone. Okay, now that I've added this, I realize that I did not create the bone that will connect the shoulders because this is now the neck bone. So we have what we call insert bone. We have what we call insert bone in Maya that helps you insert the bone structure in between two existing bones. So I'm going to add or insert a bone. So I'm going to go to insert joints, and then between that joints where I want to insert it, I create another joint there. So let me even, I think I need to find out which joint it is. Let's see. Yep, so I want to insert a joint between these two. So I want to insert a joint here, or I think I'll use this. Okay. Now it has added one more joint for me. Bring this one down and lift the other one up. The bone. Yeah, right. So I'm just going to add bone structure to that new joint. And oh no, I won't add. That's fine. So I'll start naming them. Spine. Abdomen. And this one will be Could it be chest? Okay, could still be a chest. Chest one. Upper chest. Okay. Yeah, and this one will be chest tip. Which center? The small center. This one will be abdomen tip. The naming convention in Maya does not allow you give spacing when you're typing. So you're either giving using underscores or stuff. So this should be neck. This should be head. This should be head tip, and this should be nose. So select the neck and bring it back to the neck. Select the head tip and take it back up. This one. Yeah. All right. Then from this my upper chest, I want to construct the hand, structure of the hand. So I'll change this panel briefly to top view, and I will hide these ears. Head is quite big, or I'd like to hide it as well, so I can see what I want to do. So I'm looking for chests, upper chests. After my bone, upper chest, I want to create the shoulder, the elbow, and the tip of the hand. Okay. So okay, that's this guy. So shoulder, left elbow, forgot to do that. Left hand. This on the left shoulder. So as tasking as it gets, but you have to make sure you do this to rename them so that it's easier for you to oh, for mirroring mostly be able to mirror so I can see that the mirror gets exactly it and renames them for you. And then when you are, especially when we go into binding the skin, you want to identify these objects by their um, or like the measure also. Let me call this one ears. Uh, this one is eyes. What is this one? Nose. Mm. Then patches. Then it'll be there. Okay. Then the last one, I want to have connections for the ear. So target them to the head joints, to this head joints, this one. Target them to these head joints like that. So I want to identify where it is. So that's it. So I want to create one, two, and three. Let me not sing before YouTube will tell me Seeing somebody's content. Now come and tell me what I don't want to hear. All right. So this is the ear. Let me just call this one left ear. Uh, I don't really want to bother about naming everything. That's private. So that I can mirror it easily. Uh, okay, so now for the fun part. Now that we have the model going, this is something that we can do. We didn't do it yesterday, but it will help us in organizing our scene a little bit better. We want to create layers so that the elements we are working with that are of the same type, we put them in one layer so that we can hide that layer instead of going to the outliner every time. So like the bone structure now, um, okay, I've not added the legs to, yeah, I've not added the legs to the spine, right? So let me select these bones, select the spine last, and parent it. So, and then let me add a sphere. 1, 2, 3, 4. Scaling down. Is it? Yeah, so the sail can wiggle. That is the concept. That is the whole idea. Okay. Um. Yes. Okay. So this is how to do layers in the channel box. Where we have the channel box, we have these blast points here that says layers. These first two are to shift layers up or down in the hierarchy or in the placement, layer order or stacking order. This one is to create an empty layer. This one is to create a layer with whatever objects I have selected in the scene. So let's say I want to get my whole spine, not my spine, the rabbit spine, into a layer. I can just select the spine and then, what is here? And then click on this one. It creates a layer for me. So I can just call this one skeleton and give it a color, maybe green. Maybe green, save. So now it's green in color. If I press this V, it will hide the layer and press back. If I press this place here, this place is templates. Templates will make the layer grayed out, meaning I can't select it. If I press R again, it is still a template, but the layer is not gray out. So I can actually see it, but I can't select them. So that's what this R means. Okay, so I will leave it the way it is. I don't think that green is very nice. make something darker. Okay. Then the geometry itself, I want to create a layer for that. So you can call it geometry, you can call it body, whatever name you call it. If I turn off the body goes. Oh yeah, you are not part of this body. How comes about? Yeah. Right, press E, back on. That's the body we have there. Okay. Um, I think for some reason I want to make this guy a little bit larger. And let's kind of mess up my guy. Don't worry, I can do it. Okay. So the other thing we talked about yesterday was the handles, the IK handles, things that will make the objects behave realistically. So talked about IK handles, using the IK and the FK. So I want to add IK handles to this leg so that it can move well, that can move corresponsibly. Um, for the legs, you can remember what kind of solver do we use for the legs and the shoulders? The IK handle, the solvers, which ones do we use? What's the name of that solver that we use for the leg joints and the shoulder joint? That's IK. But what solver? There are two solvers. Okay, what are those two solvers? The name. Okay. So that's why I try to do this thing. Single chain solvers and rotate plane solvers. So for the leg and the shoulders, you want to use the rotate plane solver. Okay. So I want to select the first in the hierarchy and then the last. Okay. And then I'm going to press G to step back to the same tool. Create solver for this. Create for this. And create for this. So those are solvers. So the first one is left leg. This one is this naming that you see me doing like this is very important. Is that? That's naming, whether it's position or not, but at least naming whatever tool you create, because if you don't name them, voila, go there. Oh yeah, moving. So Jason, since you're not here yesterday, let me show you what solvers do. If I pick this leg and I want to move him, I can move him and it has this realistic movement. So the IK creates this kind of chain or string that attaches the leg to the chain, right? Okay. So next thing we did was we created yeah, I want to put an IK handle here for the ears. Let me do single chain. I want to do from here to here. Then yeah, this is looking weird. Ah, I'm hungry. So okay, but so it's because I want to be able to make the ear of the body move. That's why I'm putting the IK and the ears. Right. Then that's basically all. For these other parts, I don't need to put um IK handles. I'll just use the FK, which is the forward kinematics. Now I can turn back on the layer of the geometry. Yeah. No. Z, I've not bound it. I've not bound it. Yeah. So everything I'm doing here is very crucial, especially in an animation industry scenario. You always have a set of people who are doing this job. So it's important to make sure that whatever you're doing is accurate and dependable. You see? Can be any character you like. Okay, okay. So now that we have the chain solvers, I said normally you want to have controls that are controlling these guys, not basically this. You can make the controls, but preferably you want to make them up before you bind the robot or the object so you can see, use it to test what you have done. And I said yesterday to make controls, we use mostly the we use NURBS primarily. We use NURBS, so we use NURB circles, NURB squares, or other stuff. So let me use a basic NURB circle. But let me show you, and also let me show you how to create a custom controller. I posted a video on the YouTube channel, and we talked about setting up this guy. I want to create a control that is that looks like not just a plain flat circle, but there's nothing wrong actually doing this. It's just that it's too basic. I might want something a little bit more complicated, more complex, or more easy to pick or handle. So let me make a control, making a circle out of this. I'll hold down. Let me go to my rotate tool. Then my shift, then my J to snap to 10 degrees. And I do control shift D, shift D, shift D, shift D. And I think I'll do it again for this side. So I'll hold down Shift J and snap this 6. Yep. So I want to make a control out of this. It looks kind of weird, but I like it. So this is the first issue that we have. First issue that we have is I've just created a lot of circles, and if I move one, it goes out of the way. So I need to merge them, not group them, because even if you group them or parent them, you can move the children away from the parents. So once you make all of them one object and it's not combined, these are NURBs. NURBs, you can't use this option to work with NURBs. Remember, Maya is color coded. These guys are orange. NURBs are blue. Polygons are orange. So these guys work with the orange guys. So for that, we will do a small code. I want us to catch this code. Not just very small thing, just 3 words. Just 3 words. Actually, 1 word and 2 letters. So it's not hard. Let's make it easier. When you want to make something control another object, what do? We parent them, right? So that word parent, what you should remember. So for this thing that I did here, I think it's too plenty. Let me reduce it. Let me reduce this guy. Let me do this guy. Let me do 3. 1, 2, 3, and then let me just do 3. So it's not as complicated again. It's still fancy, but not plenty stuff. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to want to do is um I want to make sure I freeze their transformations to make sure everything here is 0, 0, 0, 0, so that whatever I'm doing, these objects don't behave funny. Remember I said something about freeze transform. I said especially in animation, if you create an object and you don't freeze its transform, by the time you start adding keyframes to the tools, everything starts misbehaving and acting weird. So you need to always do that. While all of them are selected, I will just come to modify and freeze transformations. Then all of them turn out 0. So now the software believes this is where this guy was created from. Okay. So I want this guy to be the parent. I want this guy to be the child, or all of them to be the children of this parent. So there's a simple thing that we're going to do. Let me go into the attribute editor so you see what's happening here. As I've selected this circle, how many we are seeing how many tabs? 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Knob circle shape, transform geometry, make knob circle 4, right? If I click this one, we are seeing this 2. That's because these guys were duplicates from that guy, Abi, Gerald. So now I want to select this shape, go down, or that is down with my arrow key to go into the shape node. Notice that has now turned to 1. Let me do it again. I select this guy, we see 2, right? The knob circle, transform, and the shape. So I want to go into the shape node. That thing that appears in the outliner that looks like this. There's red, white with red arrow, but that's the shape node. So to get to the shape node, you press while the object is selected, press your down arrow key once and to enter the shape node. Then I want to hold shift and select the parent, which is this guy, and I press P. So let me show you what's happening. Look in my outline, I have 2 things selected, right? Yes. Once I press P, it becomes one thing. We have this and this. Okay, so I'll do that for this as well. I enter the shape node, or in fact, let me not even press P. I said I was going to give you a code. Let me do that code now. P will parent it, but this child can still move. So come here and actually write the word parent. Then I want to minus the R, like the radius, and minus the S, that's the shape node. That's whatever is becoming a child, minus R, minus S. So that whatever happens here, it will no longer exist in my outliner. It will exist only as an entity of the parent itself. So whether I press enter now, we notice that that one disappears. I just have one shape, just one shape. This guy has now turned blank, just like these other guys, which I can delete. And this one is just one shape now. So there's no way to separate them. It's one shape. Now I'm going to do that for this other guy too. I go down, I press, hold shift, press this guy. Then I write the same code here. And I do that for this next one. So I go down, hold shift, select the parents, come here, go up and enter. Press this one, same thing, go down, hold shift, select the parents, come here, press the code, enter. So now all these guys, I can delete them. I just have one knob circle, but it's actually a controller. So I want that to be the controller for my character. Right. So let me do, let me copy and put here. Okay. Yesterday we did something. We did constraints to enable us see control how to control certain objects. That this is not parenting now. This is constrain an object to constrain an object. Let me hide the geometry so that we have freedom of seeing what I'm doing. So the point of constraining an object is, let's say I create a cube now and I create a cone. I want us to see what's going to happen. I want to show you how constraint works. And what I want to do to this controller so that we can use it to constrain or control the puppets. Now this is a cone. The cone is pointing direct, as the y-axis is up, and this is a cube. Good. So if I come into my rigging, still my rigging, I have what we call constraint here. Skeleton skin, deform, constraint. I have different constraint modes, including motion paths, which I said in previous class, how we can use to make an object like a car now move along a road, but following the path of the road. So you just create a motion path and the car will drive along that path, stuff like that. So I want to do one of these constraints. The one I'm going to focus on mostly for us that I want us to catch for this our model is the points, the orient, the aim, and the pole vector. So what a points constraint does is similar to what an FK does. It follows the position of whatever the constraining object is. This follows the rotation. This follows the direction. And this one controls the position of a joint chain. So I'm going to show both of all of them. So let me start with point constraints. This is how we do constraints. You select the object you want to be the constrainer or the controller first, and then you select the controlled object last. So I want this guy to control this one. So I select the cube, select the cone last. Under constraint points, I'll come to my settings. I want to always make sure that maintain offset is on. What maintain offset does is it makes sure the distance between these two objects remain the same at all times. Otherwise, you have to calculate an offset. So I'm going to maintain offset, constrain all axis, and then add. Now, in my outliner, I can see that my cone has one thing called point constraint. So see what happens. When I move this, it's now moving my cone. Now you might think, is this not the same as parenting? It's not. In parenting, if I rotate this cube, it will rotate the cone. But here, if I rotate the cube, it doesn't rotate the cone. Because point constraints just follows positional movement. Doesn't follow rotation. Okay? See what I mean? This is a cube and a cone. If I did cone, cube, and I parented them, the cube is now the parent. So it's doing similar stuff, right? But if I rotate it, it will also rotate the child. If I scale it, it will also scale the child. So that's the difference between constraints and parenting. For constraints, scaling your object will not scale whatever is constraining. Rotating it will not rotate it as long as you are using point constraints, because point has to do with position. All right, let me show you the other one. So this constraining objects, the constraint lasts. I will do orient constraint, maintain offset, add. Now this guy doesn't control it again when it's moving, but when he rotates, he controls it. So orient is controlling rotation values for an object. Okay. Then next one, select this guy, select this guy. Aim constraints. Now this one is the one we use for things like the knees or the eyes, but preferably the eyes. Or if you have an animation where something is moving and you want the camera to follow it or you want lights to follow it. So this is the one we use, aim constraints. So it uses a targeting system. So let me use a targeting system here. Let me come here. I want wherever this cube to be, I want the y-axis, that is the sharp edge of this cone, to face it, wherever the cube goes to. So like a targeting system. So how I'll do that is I will look for here where they say the aim vector. I may not necessarily need to put on this maintain offset, but I will check the main. Let me turn it off first. The aim vector is what axis am I using to aim? Since this cube was naturally pointing here, it's easier to use the sharp side. So I will use the y-axis to aim. This is the z-axis. This is the y-axis. So aim vector should be the y-axis. That is 1 axis. Constraint on all levels. Now watch what happens. The cone now pointed to face this cube. Now wherever the cube goes, the cone is following it like a targeting system. Yeah, so it's like following its movement. So the y-axis here is pointing towards the cube at all times. So we use this for eye controls. When you create a model and you have the eyes, they want to look at it's looking at something. You put an aim constraint into what it's looking at, so that the eyes will follow that thing. That's what we use aim constraints for. So that's plenty talk. Let me come here. I've created these controls. Um, okay, let me create a few more. Let me just create circles. Um, this for the legs in general. So where I'll just duplicate each of them. Just duplicate each of them for both legs. Then I'll put for the what do you call it? I'll put for the hip joints. So, but I want to snap it to the hip joint. So I'll turn on my snapping to this one, snap to points. So I'll snap this guy to the hip joints there. I can scale it out. Then I make another copy. Also snap it, but I'll snap that one to the chest. So I will clone and snap it to the chest. And what else do I need? The head. So for the head, it is a head. Neck doesn't move now. So I'll snap for the head. So as a head doesn't, neck doesn't move now. The neck move. If you know your head, the head is one that's turning. The neck, very that way, okay. Let me let me just add for the neck so that you won't beat me. This neck, that's neck, and then for the head. Right. So I'm snap. So the reason why I'm snapping is I want to add a constraint for that bone to the controller. That's why I'm snapping them in. Then for these legs, I think I would add a locator, something like this. Let's put it here. Maybe scale it down. So it will be the locator will be right in front of the knees, something like that. Okay, so I have two locators here. I have these controls here. So, but on your own, on our own, when you're building your controls, you can choose whatever you like. So let me constrain them and show you what is going to happen. I want to constrain this handle so that when I'm moving this hand, it is not, I don't have to select the IK. I want to select this guy. So remember, I select the constrainer first, then the constraint, which is the IK handle, and then I'm going to use points constraint. It's points I'm going to use for that. So that when I select this controller, I can move it and move the hand. I don't need to touch the hand. So same thing I'll do for this guy. I'll add the point constraints. Same thing I'll do for the one on the bottom, point constraints. Select this, point constraints. So that when I pick up the leg, it moves the leg. You understand? Oh. Then for the waist, I don't want points alone. I want to do two constraints. both point and orient. So I'll start with the points. So select the circle, remember the controller, select the controlled, and then I do, is that the main hip? How the belly is, right? Let me be sure. Okay. So this one I will do points. I will also do orient. The reason why I'm doing orient is so that because this is a waist, right? So waist can move left and right. Abi? Your waist can move left and right now. Jason, can't it? It can move up and down. It can move up and down, but it can also bend back and front. Yeah, so that's why I'm using both the orient and the points. Same thing I'll do for this guy, but I won't add uh, points for this one because my chest cannot move. Can it? It can. Chest can move without the wrist. It can. Is your chest not moving? It's not moving. Yeah. I will put it here. So, and if your own cannot put, don't move. Don't put your own. And I'll put orient. And for the neck, I'll just put orient. For the neck, I'll just put orient. For the head, I will put both of them. I'll put points and I'll put orient because the head will be able to move, rotate, but the head can also move left and right. Okay. Then for this guy, these ones I put here, I want to use pole vector. Pole vector doesn't just control the movements of one joint, but controls the movement of a joint chain. So I connect it to the control of this whole uh, IK handle. So hold this guy, hold this one, and then do a pole vector constraints. It just has weight map there. So what happens is this: if I lift up this leg, I can use this to bend the knee. That is, move it left and right. You understand? JJ, you get it. I hope. Let me do pole vector again. Okay, so now we've created a lot of guys. Uh, we need to. I didn't do for the ears. I need to put something for the ears, but let me quickly put something for the ears. Let me just drop another circle. I'm going to put a circle on this. I think the rabbits have the ability to move one ear at a time, or the two ears that move at a time. Okay, let us say for the concept of our training, I don't want to make it too complex. So I'll just make it, let me just do one. Just do one. So I'll move one ear at a time. Okay, so let's make two then. All right, so I'm going to do the same thing Um, let's put this here and put this here. So this I'm going to use point. This I'm going to use point. Now I need to organize my objects so that some of them or they are controlled by themselves. So let's see. So yeah, good. But it's kind of foul. Okay, I want to put all these guys in a. I want to put them in their own layer as well, so that I can hide them at given times. And then I'm going to create a hierarchy with them. One, two, three. Create a layer with them. This is controls. I'll make it yellow. Red. So V. Okay. Let me bring out this guy. So this is my rabbit ready to be rocked, ready to be bound. Process, I mean, process be like, say, which kind of work is a bit small. This is the kind of thing that once you ask yourself, who send me here? Oh, I didn't give a guy for this, my tailbone. Let me put a guy for him, and he needs a guy. Okay, let me put a circle there. One zero five six scale. Let me add it to. Okay, so now we need to organize them so that if I move this part of the body, like I rotate this, it also affects the other parts of the body. So this is the spine control. This one will be the parents. This one will be the chest control, and it will be parented to the spine. This is the neck, will be parented to the chest. This is the head, to be parented to the neck. So I'll do like this: head here, neck here, neck here, then chest here. So that when I move the spine, all of them move. If I move this one, only the ones above move, and on like that. Then this one as well should be connected to the spine, parented by the spine, E, so that as it moves, it follows along. Same thing with you. 1, 2, and spine B. So these guys, this is the left ear control. This is right ear control. Right, and this is left hand. Right. Now the next thing to do is to bind this guy to the skeleton. This is the part we stopped at yesterday, the binding part, and then we'll do the animation and see how it's going to work together. Okay, so now class starts here. To bind the skin, the first thing we select is what? The skeleton. Those that were in class yesterday, remember that. Skeleton is what we select first. Okay, so we name these guys. Control. I'm using capital letters for the controls so that it's easy to identify them. Okay, so I select the spine, which is the skeleton hierarchy, and then I select the body or the geometry. The good thing is about binding is if you have objects that are separated, just like TJ, let's say you didn't connect the hands and to the body, you didn't stitch them, you can actually bind them one by one to test it. Because one of the tricks of binding is you need to test that it's actually working. If you bound a whole complex model first before you test it, it can be very hard to try and correct the issues that come up from binding, and which is the clinging issues of the probably the hand gumming to the body or the leg gumming to the other leg and stuff like that. So, but this is a simple model. So I'll just select the skeleton first, select the geometry last. That's the skin. So basically, you are binding the skeleton to the skin or to the body. So in that order, you make that selection. Skeleton first, then the body. And under skin here, you can now bind this first option, bind. There are settings for us, but we can use any of the settings that pleases us. So maximum influences, I'm using 3 and stuff like that. So I'll just do apply and close. So now the bind has taken place. How do you know when the bind has taken place? If you click outside and your skeleton has multiple colors, it's bound. If your skeleton doesn't have multiple colors, it's not bound. So let's do like this. This is why we test. Let's be sure I bound it. Right? So you can see it bound, right? Jason, did it bind? Okay, so it bound, right? Now this is a problem that can happen and why we test. This is a problem that can happen. When you're moving the hand, you notice how this um speaking about this part of the skin or the head and the body. It's meaning that some influences have gone beyond the hand alone. It's now the bind is now affecting the head. So how we correct that in Maya or 3ds Max or any other software is by weight mapping, painting weights to remove the control of the bind from certain parts of the body So this is where you get the paint weight from. Under skin, we have the paint skin weight. Is a tool. Once you do that, or you select the menu here, it brings out the paint tool menu. What you need to do now is select what is being painted, like the skin or the body of the person. So my own is where are you? Torso. So this is it. So that's my body, where or the rabbit's body, not my body. That's the rabbit's body. And I want to reduce the spine. So this is the hand that had issue, this hand. So I'm going to look for it here. This is the left hand. I check for it. This is why we name our stuff, because the way I named it is how it's going to show here. So it's my left hand that has the issue. So you notice the places that are colored are the places that the hand is controlling. So I can see where issues are from here already. And I need to remove the color from this part. So once I select that and I see the color, where I have value here, this value, once it's 0, it means whatever I paint will disappear. It will not be affected again. Value of 1 means when I paint, it will add control there. So since we want to remove, I want value of 0, and I want to remove the paint weight from that point there. So I don't want anything about the head to be controlled by the hand. So the target is to try and get this guy to be black, not blue. I'm using a color ramp. So blue is the least influence. But I don't even want it to be influenced at all. So you can paint to get black, or you just paint to get complete non-influence. That's blue. Either one for you. So, and it is on vertices you are painting, not on faces. So target vertices of the objects. Because if you don't get the vertices, the painting, this thing will not really work. Don't worry, they are marketing funds. You just you go and buy your phone. Eh? You say the phone is too cheap. And we like it. Okay, it's not good for our status. Buy it for Hazel Walker. Okay, so I've gotten rid of 90% of this influence. I want to also get this for the left elbow. Let me see for the left shoulder. The left shoulder has a lot of control. So I want to clean that one too. So this is a brush you can actually paint. These guys, it's like every month they do, what do they call it? They do promo, and nobody's going there. You guys should go there now. Make them, just help them. You can go there and do like if you want to buy, so I don't feel too bad. Those guys, because all these guys, they will dance. They dance since yesterday. They were here yesterday. Right. Okay. I think I can leave these blue ones. Sometimes getting these vertices can be the trick. Just get this. Okay. So this is how you know if you've done anything. You will check this guy and you move it again. You notice it's no longer being controlling the head. So that's why we do the weighting. Then all these other movements I'm doing, This is what that GTA something used to do when the hand goes inside like this. So how do we stop that? That's our limitation thing we did with the tire. Remember? Yeah, those stuffs. Yeah, yeah. Just limits movement. So you it's on translate. So you check it wherever you don't want it to get to or wherever you want it to stop. So like now, this elbow movement, I don't want it to ever get beyond where it is now. It can get further than that, but it should not cross beyond that. So what I do is this one is minimum, right? I can say minimum 4 here. This one maximum 1, minimum 0.5 or 0.4, and do all that stuff for it. So you can do all those setup for yourself for that uh, control if you want to. So let me get rid of that. I think I will just freeze this guys. Then control and set up that minimum, maximum stuff. I want to see him, don't mind him. Okay, so I don't want this guy to go beyond here. So minimum of 0.3, maximum of 1, I think. Then I think I want it to go above 1. I think 1 is fine. And down, 1 down. Okay. Then x goes minimum of, yeah, 0.3. Let's say 0.4. Then z, so x can go minimum of 0.4. Z should go minimum of 0.02. So that no matter what happens, this guy doesn't go beyond that section. So it doesn't go and click into the neck, right? So that's where it stops. And this one goes up, this one comes down. Then you can now set the maximum for it. So that's generally how you will do this guy. Are we okay? Are we good? You don't even have this guy. So, all right. So this is what you're going to do now. Skin your bunny so that we can create a small test. I want to show you how we test this your animation or how we test animations. So let me see this guy. This one should also have some issues. Yeah. Right hand. Okay, while I'm working on this, guys, you guys can keep bind the skin of your rabbits. Anybody that has issues, just call my attention. I mean, we're using your hand. Everybody should bind. Then we're going to do this because I want to create a test animation. I want us to go home with an animation today. Just create a simple this thing. You may not need to put too many controls, but put controls in primary places like even if you don't do this complex control, just use normal circles and add controls to your model that you can use to move the puppets, the objects around. Let's see. Jason, is your system working now?